We're back with the turn.
And we are back. It's the Cool Nerd Weed Show. That's TS.
And that's Sasha.
And we are joined by connoisseur of music, art, taste, culture, Video Dave.
Hey.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
You are actually our first official guest
Here in the studio.
here in the new studio.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take that. That's nice. Okay.
Yeah.
It's a celebration.
We are very happy to have you, TS. I know that you guys know through weed, obviously. TS knows you through the dispensary. Shout out
Greenhouse.
I go there
Herbal
all the
Center.
time. I'm like always like H purple. Yeah, shout out to Greenhouse. You guys are reliable and you have the best bud tender ever. Named TS. And that's like that, like, you know, a lot of people around there. Like there's like a concentration of people that are like homies that like live around there.
Yeah, I've actually worked in that neighborhood for a long time. That's where I started my career, down the street at the higher path
Yeah.
on Sunset.
Yeah.
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 I picked that neighborhood because of walkability. That's why I picked it.
Oh, totally.
Walk to the park, walk to the grocery store, walk to the weed shop.
Yeah, it does have really good walkability.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's bustling, you know, like it's like a very
I could have dealt with a little less bustle, but
yeah, there's a good hustle and bustle
Yeah,
going on there.
I like the walkability. The bustle sometimes gets to be a bit much.
Factuals. There's a story every ever loving day.
I just heard a story today. See, I don't know what kind of podcast this is, but I just heard a story.
It's that type of podcast.
Because as I was walking from my car, parked my car, and I'm walking, this lady's just like, "Oh, I like your bag." I said, "Oh, thanks." I said, "Did you make it?" I'm like, "No." And then said, "Have you been to the new grocery store?" And I'm just like, "What is happening here?" I'm just trying to walk. She's walking her dog, but she's making conversation. So I'm just being friendly, like, fuck it. Engaging her in conversation. It's like, yeah, you don't want to go to the Ralphs anymore. I say, well, hell no, why don't you want to go to the Ralphs? Because some lady just got killed there last week.
Oh, geez. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
It's true. That came up on my Citizen app.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how you look at that.
I didn't know about this.
Yeah.
Good to see. You learned something
local
new.
Ralphs.
Who
Randomly
are the people
good
in your
thing.
neighborhood?
Yeah, exactly.
People that you meet each day. She told me that.
Oh, Lord.
Walking
man.
down the street.
Yeah, within 3 minutes of conversation, I was just like, oh, damn, somebody got killed at Ralph's?
Thank you. Thank you for letting me. Thank you for the bulletin update.
Yeah.
Wowzers. Yeah. That's a good example of the hustle and bustle in that neighborhood. Like there's every day, like TS is like, yeah, there's a garbage can in the middle of the street and, you know, they're lighting it on fire with,
man.
you know what I mean?
That should be happening. People just throwing stuff in the middle of the street. I've seen that a few times. I mean,
Yeah.
whatever. I've seen that in other cities. So.
Yeah, no, for real. I was going to say, like you mentioned you're from Chicago. I went there for the first time last year for Pride. And I was taking a good old-fashioned taxi cab. It wasn't an Uber. It was a taxi from the airport. And one of the streets was closed. And he was like, oh, yeah, there was a murder. And I was like, for sure. Like, it was the casualness in his voice was like, oh, you know, that's cool. Like, like that's, you know, like it was, and I feel like that's kind of what, like you said, you wanted to like be friendly and stuff. Like, I want to be friendly too, but like, I don't know.
But yeah, I'm just trying to walk home. I'm trying to get somewhere. I got a place that I'm going. I'm not trying to hang out here.
Yeah. Do you find it different? Like, what do you find different? Because you spent time in New York too. Like in like the circles you ran in and like your people, what do you find like is different from LA? Like, what do you feel?
I mean, New York was just so much more about,
Condensed.
yeah, and where you live, like walking to the bar and meeting people on your block and
Yeah.
people, like I really knew people I lived around a lot more than I do out here.
Yeah, it's funny too. I feel like I do too, which is interesting because people are always like, people that just walk by. I mean, I'm from New York area. I'm from New Jersey, so like that's what I know. And people are like, people just like walk past you and don't say anything. I'm like, I didn't find that to be true. I found it to be there was a neighborhood with neighbors and like we all knew each other's pets and there was a dog park. And I do feel like out here, even though you'd think it's kind of like a little bit more, it's metropolitan, but it's a little bit suburban-ish. You'd think there would be more like interaction. But where I live in Hollywood, like I never see my neyghbors. I never see anybody. It's quiet.
Yeah, I see people on my block and I'm like, oh shit, this person lives here? Yeah. Like, I would have never known.
Yeah. And you live in the thick of it. You live in like Hollywood.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's more of a sense of community, I felt like, when I lived in New York or other places.
Yeah.
I don't know. some of the neighbors you just want to keep at arm's length anyway.
Yeah.
And
So, but there's some good people.
I feel like other neighborhoods in LA, like that, I've lived in a couple of different neighborhoods that, like, for short stays and shit, but it felt a lot more community than Hollywood.
Yeah. Hollywood is a stark. It's weird too because there's so many. Like Hollywood is very the same, even though there's like such different. Like, wouldn't you say like where you live is different from where you work is different from where I live? You know, like and like it's like three very distinct parts
for
of
sure.
Hollywood,
For sure.
but they're all like that same kind of like
Or,
vibe.
like-
You know,
Like 3 miles away.
Yeah.
Or less.
yeah.
I lived in Leimert Park for a while during like right when pandemic started. Even during lockdown, it felt like more of a community than Hollywood does.
Yeah. It's you know, and also now like the one thing I will say, like because people will ask me that a lot, like, where do you prefer to live, New York or LA? And I'm like, I mean, I'm from the East Coast, so that is my like what I know, but like in terms of like the weed culture, like obviously like you can't even compare it with anything in the whole entire world.
No, the way you could smoke out here is so much better.
It's great.
Like, Chicago. I'm from Chicago, and it's recreational out there now, but the taxes are wild. It's out of control.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's just nicer out here.
Yeah.
It's a better place to be smoking.
It sure is. It sure is. And like when I was growing up, weed was still when I was a kid, it was like illegal. And then when I was, and living in New York and going to bars, like I was the one outside, like across the street, like where everybody would come, like take a hit out of my like stupid one hitter because you couldn't really smoke joints back then, or you were hot. So like the weed culture, while it existed out there, it really did. I mean, it's where I found my home out here.
For sure. You've been all over the world. Where
We both have.
True story. You've been all over the world. So, where is the best and where's the worst weed you've ever had?
Ooh, yeah, good question.
Everywhere you've been.
Yeah, the
Worst weed I ever had. I mean,
That's a good question.
see, but then we're talking about timing and like.
Okay, yeah, like
we can't go back to like the worst weed I ever had was probably some of the stuff in college, but
right.
Like,
that was-
let's just say, your touring career.
yeah,
Yeah, you're adult.
Probably some stops in the UK. There were probably some UK
Okay.
stops where somebody came through with some weed that was just like not great. I think those maybe. I don't want to call one of these places out. I don't want to make that feel bad. Maybe it was just somebody coming through with bad weed.
True, could have just been a bad
that
batch.
day
Yeah.
in Huddersfield, but it wasn't great. I think that might have been one of the places that had pretty bad weed.
If you don't want to call them out, I will. I concur. The UK
Yeah, I feel like you've
has-
said that before. Yeah, I feel like you've said it. You've gotten some gnarly
of
weed
the
there.
like London. My God, that was terrible. I needed something. It was sort of like bricky brown. I was
Yeah.
happy to have it.
Yeah.
I feel like in
But,
London, I remember smoking some decent weed in London, but there were some smaller places that it just wasn't great. I mean, I got some real bad stuff once in Ireland, but then I got some real good stuff in Ireland once.
Interesting.
Yeah, well, more than once. In Ireland, I got some decent shit. Scotland was decent.
I could actually I'm not surprised about that. I feel like
Germany, not that great, I guess. It's just, the not great over there. The best maybe either here or in Portland.
Yeah.
that tracks. I feel like.
And some good weed in Michigan, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I heard like Detroit and Michigan's really going off. right
Really?
now.
Yeah.
Like they have,
Well, that's
they
cool.
got they have the flavors. Like they know
Good.
about flavor.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's good.
But previously, Detroit was
Not great.
It's opened up in this country, man. Like, I was just in St. Louis a few weeks ago, and it was completely recreational in St. Louis. I would have never guessed.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
We said that too when it went recreational. We were like surprise of the year. Like they kind of just like jumped all in. It's weird. You never know. Like even when you're driving through like Oklahoma and stuff like that. Like I wouldn't.
I think it's like medical in Oklahoma.
It is,
like
but
weird,
there's
but it's
mad
everywhere.
signs. Yeah, like off
it
of the free.
doesn't
Like
make sense.
It doesn't make sense. You're like you still have, but it's like the
like
Venice
super
medical.
easy.
Yeah, it's like you
Yeah.
can get your day pass or whatever.
You can get like a 1-day medical rec in Oklahoma.
Yeah, yeah. So if you're
It's
going to be
like
spending
cruising
time.
through.
That shit is fishy. I don't like that shit.
It is like it's like when like when you would come here when it first like when Prop D hit and like you would go to Venice and it would be like the Green Doctors and you would put like your hotel as your address or whatever.
I think it was Oklahoma that they like wrote down all our names. We went to a restaurant and they like wrote everybody's name down. I'm like, what the fuck is happening right now?
Yeah.
She's just looking at IDs, writing names down. I'm like, what the fuck? That was like when we first walked in the restaurant. Is it too late to like leave? Give me that page.
Yeah.
Show
Show me where you're putting this.
Yeah. Who is this getting turned into?
Yeah. It's like, you know, we always talk about it, like get touring and whatnot, like the weed sitch. Like I guess, you know, you were saying like in a tour bus and a tour van, it's like a little less sus than like if you're in like a minivan or like a VW, you know?
Yeah, but it's not, that's why it's like really surprising when you actually drive around, like how many places, like, oh, it's not that bad.
Yeah.
It's legal now. It's a whole nother climate.
Yeah.
There's like 38 states where it's legal. So, I mean,
It's really nice.
it's a much more civilized country.
Yeah, it is way less stress, at least when you know wherever you're going, you know, you don't have to like figure out your plug and like what, you know, go on like whatever app is like going to work for you that that moment. That is a relief. Like when I go home, I'm always like somewhat glad, you know, because whoever I mean, I haven't lived on the East Coast for years, so all of my plugs are like who knows where. So it's nice. It's nice to have that relief. Like,
and it's nice to not have to wait on the mission.
Yeah.
That shit used to be the worst.
My dude wouldn't come until like the sun went down because it was too hot in LA. I'm like, but I ran out last night.
I know.
Come on, man.
I had this dude in New York who wouldn't let you like leave. You had to stay for like 15, 20 minutes.
Oh my God.
So he didn't want people in and out of his crib. And he was actually a cool dude too, but still. Like, I got to schedule 20 extra minutes just to sit
there was
in
always
your
a
crib.
plan. There was always, I had to block out time. Yeah, for sure. And then everybody who did that, they were always cool. Like they were always like, I was down to hang, but I was like, sometimes I was like, but I just want to smoke my weed by myself.
Go.
Yeah.
I got things to do.
Please let me go. But like, thank you for providing the service that is so necessary for me right now.
It was the early experience. That's probably why the LAPD was in my living room because they didn't make the 15-minute waiting period.
Wait, what?
I didn't provide a 15-minute chit chat.
Oh, got you.
Like, I should have done that.
Yeah.
That was
Looking back. Yeah, I guess so. But it was always like a little bit of a gamble. And you know, now you got like moms and grandmoms smoking weed. Out there, like touring, because you just got back from a tour. Yeah. Where did you tour? All around the Americas?
Yeah, we went from all around, from Phoenix up to here to Portland, down to Denver and Oklahoma, and up to Michigan.
That's a great run.
Or Minneapolis, and then Chicago, Michigan, South Carolina.
Nice.
Like all the way around the country.
That's
down
great.
to Memphis, like everywhere. It was insane.
That's a lot of days.
Yeah, it was broken up in two segments, like 2.5 week segments.
Nice.
And we like paused in Lansing, came back, flew home for a week and a half, went back and did Detroit.
Wow.
Like from Detroit down and around up to like Albuquerque. But we did like 12 nights in a row.
Damn.
That shit was insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is a run. That's like
That's
a marathon
that's a
run.
legit run.
Yeah. Ooh.
It sounds like a lot, and we knew, like, everyone's like, all right, this is going to be crazy. And like night 10, night 11, everyone was just going crazy. Like people just saying weird shit.
Yeah.
Weird days in our eyes, but it was awesome. It was incredible.
Yeah.
Really
Yeah.
fun.
That's a great experience.
In that touring zone, you just like, you probably could have done another 12 days.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, yeah. Just on like the
What you
adrenaline alone.
Could've,
Yeah.
But it would have, who knows what
You
would have.
you all would have been like on medication by the time you got home.
We've gotten to this weird twisted world where we were listening to this this new, I think, Alice in Chains song called White Line, or Alice Cooper song called White Line Frankenstein. You got to check it out.
Ooh.
That became like the theme song for the
That's amazing.
tour. And like, we were listening to shit like every day. Like, you're in this van and at some point it's like, oh, it's time for White Line Frankenstein now.
That is awesome.
Shit, that was part of the 12 days. Like, that was part of that sickness. That we put ourselves through that every day. But it was so much fun, you know.
That's
Tour
great.
shit is great shit.
Yeah, yeah. Are you feeling like post-tour blues a little? Or
Yeah,
I
you
always
know.
ask that. I know it's like
It happens. It's real.
sucks. It's like such a
It's
such a
real.
low.
It is real.
It's real. Like,
Yeah.
we were traveling around. There were 8 of us in the Sprinter that I was in, but total, like the lineup for the night was 15 people.
Wow.
And some of those spots, there was more than one night where this room would have been. This room
Yeah.
was 3 times what we had.
Wow.
Like, we had green rooms that were just this.
Yeah. Yeah.
and it's like 15 people.
Yep. That's close quarters, man. That's
Gonna have to
close
go in
quarters for a while.
shifts.
Yeah.
Bathrooms. There was this green room that had a fucking toilet in it just behind like saloon doors. It was like, who would know? Who could ever do it?
Why would
Just
you
like
do this?
chatting with someone who's dropping
Yeah,
a
like
deuce.
just
It's always fun.
like looking over. That's so,
You-
so awkward.
You do get very close with the people you tour with.
Oh, hell
for
yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
We were
Yeah.
out there with some punk bands. It was fucking great.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's sick. Who did?
AJJ.
Oh, nice. Oh, very cool.
Yeah,
Oh, amazing.
cool.
I just played some AJJ last night. That's very, very cool.
And Sad Park, this young ass band out of here, out of LA.
Okay.
Fucking amazing.
Yeah, no, totally. That's amazing.
Southern band Footox. Just, man, it was a great time. It was
Good.
really great.
Good. Like there's nothing like a successful fun tour.
Yeah.
You know? Like nothing like seeing like good music that you were like, well, I wouldn't have probably seen this if I wasn't touring with these dudes. And like then you see it coming out the other side, like everybody like I mean, there's not a day that we'll walk like, you know, be in like Griffith or something and people be like, what's up, man? And like he's like, yeah, I toured with him like 10 years ago. And I'm like, yeah, dude, like you guys are like it is. It's like friends, you know, for life. And it's nice when it goes well.
Yeah. It was great. Good times.
Get exposed to a different audience.
Oh, completely.
Yeah.
Very different audience than I usually get to perform in front of. And they ate it up. They liked it. So
Good.
Very receptive. The pop punk community we love.
Yeah.
We love music.
Yeah, it's like it really is it's taken on this like world where they're like the scene is developed and it's been like, oh, like it's opened its arms and a flood of inclusivity has happened and now there's all sorts of genres like I mean like that are blending in together and I think it's like really cool to see because I feel like for a long time music didn't do that. You know, music kind of just stayed the way it was, and I'm glad that it's still going through all of the like the revolutions, like the 50 years of hip hop. I've been like very nostalgic, like well, and we were talking about this before, and I was like, I don't know a world. I'm 39, so I don't know a world without hip hop, right? Like, and I wonder what that is like. You know what I mean? I wonder what it's like to like. You know, grow up without that, and then see this boom of creativity and genre bending and putting art together, and like you know, it feels good. It feels good to celebrate it, but it feels like it's been around for centuries.
Yeah. You know, I love it. It's what influenced me. I make hip hop music.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's my thing.
Yeah.
I'm so fucking happy. This whole 50-year thing has just been.
It's been so nice.
Yeah, it's just great to see it everywhere and see it get its recognition and shit.
Yeah,
It's
everybody
nice.
getting on stage, like it's been just really, and it's also cool too, because like even though I don't know a world without it, like you know, I remember growing up with people who you know were talking about how it all came together. So I do remember it forming and taking on different life, and you know, by the time it made it to different regions, it took on different forms, and it's been like I've been listening to what is it, Rock the Bells on Sirius, and like everybody's just been coming on telling their stories. Well, this is how this happened, and this is how that happened, and it's really I don't know. It's like it's a genre where yes, of course there's competition and comparing, but it's also a genre that I feel like people are like there's some sharing is caring and love, that goes into hip hop, I feel
crews and people working with people they know. I'm in a group. I got a group with two of my. I'm not even supposed to be talking about that, but
Cool Nerd Reach exclusive.
Yeah, I do music with other people also.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like friends, and so you start rapping with usually is like your friends, and start making music, and it's the shit.
Yeah,
All about it.
Yeah, I'm glad to get to do it. So, what is the album that we are celebrating right now? What is your latest?
Oh, my new album is called Articulated Textiles. I brought gifts.
Ooh.
Oh, what?
Glad you brought it up.
Yeah, we were listening to some of it, like when we were when we were bodying our joints, and it's a great vibe.
Vinyl.
Oh my God.
He said
No
too,
way.
he was like, there is a vinyl version. I was like,
there's
I
a
want
vinyl.
it. I want it. Yay. Oh, this is great. Ooh. And you do art. I want to talk about your art too.
What about you? A cassette.
Oh shit, yeah. Oh my God.
Do you have a cassette player?
Yeah, I fucking
Awesome.
do.
A cassette and a button.
My whole life, I've always said I cannot go without having a cassette player in my life. Like oh my God, yay.
That was a guess. Huh?
Yes, no, this is what we call a cassette. Cassettes are actually making a comeback. Like they sell Walkmans in Urban Outfitters now. And I am so happy about it. Yes. Oh my God, I'm so happy. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Fuck yes. Yeah, dude. This came out. When did this come out? Earlier
July
this year?
7th.
Oh, nice. A nice, like lovely summer drop and a perfect, beautiful album with two sides and everything.
You came through just to the shop just before, or like the day this came out.
Ooh.
And you gave me a sticker with a QR code, and I immediately, because you're one of the cooler fucking people that comes in.
Thank you.
Yeah, and that
Probably one of the coolest people that comes in.
that breath of fresh air when you see a regular, just like cross your fingers is what you were gonna say. Like you being a cool regular, like that breath of fresh air when you see somebody you know and you love and you're just like, ooh, we're gonna talk about cool things and like just be homies and
Not
like
a weirdo.
thank you for
Exactly.
existing. So
Dealing with the public.
but they're great, we love them all. So yeah. So yeah, the day it dropped.
The day it dropped, I downloaded, and I was like, I listened, and I was like, holy shit. This sounds like it's abstract. It's very cool. It's smooth. It's jazzy.
So smooth.
It sounds like it reminded me of like De La Soul, which is kind of like what I grew up with, and that, and Tribe Called Quest, and I was like super stoked to hear it. And then later I found out that like you were actually influenced by Prince Paul,
Yeah.
and the Native Tongues movement.
Yeah.
And I don't think I think our listeners would appreciate, and if you told them like what the Native Tongues movement and this, like how this influenced your music.
Yeah.
This record right here.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, the Native Tongues, like that's just what it was for me. Like as a little kid, I feel like I try to always remember like what's the first rap song when I was really listening to like a quality hip hop song, and I think it was between. And I can't remember, these all came out like the same year. And I'm like, I'm not sure if it was like Principal's Office by Young MC. Because he had like Principal's Office and Bust a Move. And like my uncle used to love that shit. And he would play it on the way to school. And like, my uncle and my parents, they didn't love hip hop like throughout. So it wasn't like my uncle, when I think back, like he did play a lot of stuff, but it wasn't like, I don't know. I don't want to hype it up the wrong way. I come from an immigrant family. Like they didn't love hip hop.
Sure.
Like, the adults, but he liked that song, like the Principal's Office and Bust Move. So he used to play that shit. Then I used to see Me, Myself, and I on like Saturday morning videos.
Oh yeah.
And what's the other one? It's the tip of my tongue, but it's 1986, and there's these 3 songs, and I'm like, which one was the first one? I don't know. But anyway, Me, Myself, and I. That's the, Prince Paul, De La Soul, Native Tongues. When I really got into hip hop, it was De La and Tribe, and that's just all I listened to. And I did all the homework and went back and listened to their whole discography, had it all. Every time when I would organize my CD books in high school, it always started with Tribe. Like the first 5 albums,
Awesome.
first 3 albums in my book was Tribe, then De La. Like these, like I didn't go in alphabetical order and shit. It was like Tribe Called Quest on the first page, De La Soul's on the second page, and as their collections grew, I always had all the albums. I just love these albums, and Prince Paul is just hilarious. He's the best producer. I don't know. He's my favorite. He's got his albums like the Prince Paul, Prince Among Thieves album, and Psychoanalysis, like his own albums that are just amazing. The Handsome Boy Modeling School stuff. He's just amazing, hilarious. He did the albums with Chris Rock, like the comedy albums, Grammy Award-winning comedy albums. Like he's just done so much shit, and he's so amazing. I love all his work. And Open Mike Eagle, who I travel with and do a lot of work with, does a podcast, and he had Prince Paul on there for a whole season. So I got to meet Paul and like speak to him and, you know, be in the room when he's telling all these stories and shit. And there was just this one day where he was saying, because I tell this story, but now I have time to like tell it properly because it's like this day he was talking, we were talking about like the Native Tongues crew and like how, who was in it and all that. And he was naming all these people and he was like, you know, but it wasn't something that was like really a close-knit crew like that, well, it was close-knit, but like these people were tight with each other, but it was like, he was expressing that like they didn't have an official member roster and shit, like who was in the crew. He's like, you know, there were a few people, like I can't really tell you exactly who was in it, like we didn't have a list. He's like, you know, if you guys would have been there, y'all would have been in the crew. Like, so he said it like that, but the way I heard it was like, yeah, if you would have been around, you would have been in the crew. Like, like I heard it the complete other way.
Like all time stopped around you.
Like, oh, you're saying I would have been in?
Yes.
Yeah. So like when I was making that album, I was just kind of like, yo, I would have been in, you know, like let me make my album to be part of like Native Tongues. Like back then, it was just like my imagination from that moment that I understood in the moment, but I've let myself misunderstand in
perception
my memory.
is
like,
reality.
You know, that time that Prince Paul told me that I would have made the cut. Like,
hell yeah.
Yeah, no.
This was that album. That's great. Oh, that's a great story. That's sick because you really did achieve that. Like it felt like a present day time capsule, you know, like in a way that was your own, but also like a really nice, like you could be in 1986 and you could be like, wow, this is really great. This is really great hip hop.
But I hadn't told the producer all that. Like me and him, we met on Instagram and shit. Like we were just messaging each other and he's like, yo, I'll send some beats and shit. And he sent the first like 3 beats of like the first 3 beats he sent, that one, the plug tune was in there. Yeah. And I was like, yo, this shit sounds like Prince Paul. I really like this shit. He's like, oh, I like Prince Paul too. And I'm like, oh shit, hell yeah, of course you do. And you know, we have a little bit of conversation on that. So that was like in my mind and in his mind that we just both loved this dude, but we never were like, let's do it. I didn't explain to him that whole story. Like he heard that shit way later and he was like, I didn't know that. I'm like, yeah, that was in my mind. Like I knew that shit was just in my mind. So I didn't tell you about it, but it was just like the vibe. We were both like, yo, we both love this dude. We both love that style of hip hop. Like, let's just see what happens. And then it just so happened that it was exactly what you wanted it to be. Yeah, I mean, he sent beats, and I just was picking like I'd be picking them like, yo, yeah, that's the one. That's so great. That shit sounds great. Oh, that's amazing.
You were on tour the whole time while this was
not the whole time, but I was working reality TV during when I started it. I was like on a break. It was New Year's Day, and I posted some song. Like some song of mine. I posted some shit online on like Instagram. Like I didn't even, you know, put it on the streaming and shit. It was just like some shit I recorded in my room, put it on Instagram. I was like, yeah, you know, it's January 1st. I just want to post more. You know? And the producer, Controller 7, was like, oh, you know, good song, whatever. He like responded to it and shit. And we just started chatting a little bit. And like the next couple of days, we just like chatted a little, then exchanged beats. And I was like on break from reality TV. So I was like, yeah, man, I'm on break for like the next 2 weeks. Send me beats. Yeah. So he sent a bunch and I was like, oh fuck, let's do a whole album. And then that was just the beginning. Like it took over a year. But the beginning of it was like real quick. Like he sent like 6 beats within a week. And I was like, yeah, all of these are great. And all of those songs are on the album. Like
that's, I mean, like really is a great start. Like that is like that is like exhilarating, you know, for it to go that well.
that blows me away. Like the technology, like you can just like send somebody some beats. You're in your hotel on the day off.
Yeah.
You're just gonna lay down some rhymes and send it back, and then it just develops. Like,
and then also like
every
social
day.
media, like posting it on Instagram. Like, have you found as an artist like that's really been like a utensil that
completely.
it's been such a cool thing to watch.
Yeah,
you know,
for me, it works for me. You know, I can't speak for other artists. I'm sure somebody else would be able to talk about like how bad it is business wise.
Sure,
but it's been working for me.
Yeah,
like, you know, for some people, if it doesn't work for them, popularity wise, like, hey, sorry,
right.
But I'm sure an artist, more established artist, someone who's been around longer would be like, yo, this is why it's bad for your business in a way that I don't quite understand because I've only been trying to release music, or I've only been successfully releasing music on this independent level for the last few years. Like all the shit I was doing 20 years ago was just like out of my backpack type shit. So it's like ever since I've been using social media and the computers and good stuff.
It's just made so much more music more accessible, and like I just feel like that should be celebrated.
Especially with what I do a lot of video stuff. So like being able for people to see it, and then the other stuff I do, like it just works for me.
Yeah. So I also want to talk about that because I love all of that stuff too. When did you start to make stuff, to do stuff? And we'll talk about exactly, like you can describe how you started and what it developed into.
So the first time I ever sold something was for a little kid's birthday. I know it was like some of my best friends' kid, and like one of my favorite kids, and it was her birthday, and I take her to the store. I'm like, you know, what do you want? And she picks this book that's like sew your own mini little stuffed animals. And she's like, you know, I want that. I'm like, you know, cool, great kid. And then I'm like, here you go. And we get back home. She's like, okay, make them for me.
Cool.
I thought you were going to make this with your mom. She's like, no, you. And I'm like, oh, fuck. All right. I'm like, all right. But it's her birthday. So I'm like, oh, all right. So I sat there and made like 2 or 3 of them. I'm like, here you go. She's like, yeah, make the rest of them. It's like 13 animals in the book. And I'm like, oh, shit. All right, fine. But, you know, I love this kid. And it's like, all right, fine. So I sit there and I spend like the whole weekend just making these stuffed animals. And I give them to her and I'm like, all right, cool. And I go back home to New York and I get off the train. I'm about to go home and I'm like, actually, go back to the bookstore, buy that same little make stuffed animals kit, like buy that shit for myself. And
that's great.
And I just had it, and I would make a few here and there.
Yeah.
Like sometimes when I was like selling shirts and shit, I'd be like, yeah, you know, first 10 shirts, get stuff in. Like But I only did it a few times here and there. And then during lockdown, I was just sitting in my room, bored as shit one day, and I was like, oh shit, I got this felt kit. Yeah. And then I started making shit again.
That's and it's like a therapeutic thing too, like to make stuff, you know, in general, and especially sewing and stitching and like stuff with felt. Like I see it being, you know, it's such a good release. I love them.
I made that octopus.
Oh, they're so pleasing.
Like made that fox. And like that fox is like out of the book, right? But
oh shit!
I was tripping the day. I was online tripping, and I invited people. Online. It was July 4th, and I invited people to like do this show and tell. And I was like, I'm doing drugs. And I was like, I did a tab of acid and like was doing this show and tell with like
amazing,
like strangers from the fucking internet, and it was like a Zoom meeting, and like we were all on this. And this was like peak lockdown, like straight up the 2020 lockdown days. And I made that fox, and I was like tripping, and like
he's beautiful.
Her name's Red Fox.
She's beautiful.
And I sewed her up all crazy, and then I had to put all that stuff on her back to like make her be able to stand up. And I was tripping hard, and I was like, those are like scraps from the stuff I'd made before, and I'm like, oh, it's her ancestors that make her stronger.
I love it.
Right? So then I made the raccoon was like the next one I made. And that's like also from the book, but I was still tripping. So like I was making it all crazy. But then like the next day I was like, oh, now I can make, like, I realized that I can make whatever I wanted. So I made the octopus like without the book. Like I was just like, I'm going to make an octopus.
I'm just going to freeball.
Yeah. And like used all the scraps from all of the ancestors for the legs and shit. And And I was like still kind of tripping a little bit.
It's so good though. Like that is exactly that is exactly why we trip. Is
And then those are like the next few days when I wasn't tripping anymore. But
and
like,
yeah,
and I was like, I could just make. I was like, oh, I'm gonna make an ostrich with a cape. And
I mean, not for
I'm gonna make
nothing.
an
Like
owl.
tripping versus not tripping. I have to say, I mean, they're
That's,
both like they both hold their own beauty. Like
It's like when the spider's tripping versus
Oh,
the
look at
spider's
the-
not tripping.
oh wow, this is like really nice detail.
All right, let me see some of these.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't want to throw them at your head because I would have. Oh, I love all of these so much. Oh, I love this so much. Oh my God, wait, is this like King Tut? Who's this?
Yeah.
I love him.
We've got the ostrich with the cape.
Oh,
We have the octopus. Oh, this is
bro, I love this shit
with
so
the
much.
ancestral octopus.
Yeah.
This is
very
so
cool.
amazing. I fucking love this shit.
Yeah, and this is just the shit I started making, and like,
Oh man, and like, there's a sense of absolute satisfaction when you're creating these
There is.
things,
This is
right?
dope.
Like, you feel like damn, especially like tripping on acid, just doing it with a bunch of people, and that is a real cool way to create, and a way that didn't exist before. These are absolutely stunning. I love them so very much, Lee. Where can we find them? Tell.
like, I mean, mostly I show them on my Instagram and shit, and like, I've got a website. It's vod.art, and I've got some stuff.
We'll link it.
Because like some of that stuff, then I started turning those into hats.
Hell
'Cause,
yeah.
like I wear hats all the time, and I was like tired of wearing like just
Somebody
Cubs-
else's
Cubs
design.
hats and
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
So I started making
I
hats.
had my eye.
That was another thing when you came in. You're always
Oh, I love.
highly fashionable.
Oh yeah, well, I was always
Fresh.
rocking like one of my hats and shit.
And that's like when you wear shit like this, especially out here in LA. Like I will say that I know the LA like people will like ask you, like they will compliment you and they will ask you where your
Yeah.
shit's from. It's kind of, I did find that was also a cool thing about LA.
This shit with the hats, people ask me about it all around, like everywhere on planes and shit. And like people ask about the hats.
Ooh. Yeah, people like want to know.
This is intricate. This is
Yeah,
the
I went-
Taj Mahal.
Whoa,
This is-
sick. I know, and this one has like layers. These are fucking great. These are great.
Thank you.
They're wonderful. I love shit like this. Man, I wanted to be arts and craftish like my whole life so badly. Like it was because my mom is and like everybody else in school was, and I'm not. I'm like I'm the worst at art. Like I'm so bad at it.
How about Transformers?
Oh, sick, nasty, man. Oh, ooh, these are so pleasing to me. All of the stitching. I want to look at this on mushrooms.
Yeah, and probably touching our mushrooms. That would be dope.
You know, like I want to like look at it and acid. Wow, this is really nice. This one.
Yeah, that one took about 2 weeks,
This is beautiful.
2 or 3 weeks straight. And I was
Right.
like pretty obsessive, like working on it all the time.
Yeah, it's like the way it fades in. It's really pretty. Really pretty.
I missed the pyramid.
The Yelp I yelped when I saw that. I love that shit so much.
Is this
You know?
acid? No acid.
None.
None.
Not on this one. Open that up too.
Oh, there's more.
Yeah. It's like Russian dolls and shit.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Oh, there's a mummy. Oh my god. Wow.
Little organs and shit.
There's
And a cat.
Oh shit! Yes.
there's organs and a
I want
mummy.
that as a Christmas
and-
ornament.
And a cat.
That would be a
I want
some very
get you
big.
Christmas ornaments. I want to hang this
You know
up.
that the Far Side song, Your Mama,
Yeah.
where they're just roasting people's mamas at the end of the song. He's like, your mama got snakeskin teeth.
Your mama got snakeskin teeth.
And I also love these. Like, they're so very like there are ones that are inspired by music, and they're
Oh, hell yeah.
inspired by like just what's in our brains, but also like music is always in our brains. There's like
Your mama's got snakeskin.
Yeah, your mama got snakeskin teeth.
Oh,
I saw that snakeskin felt. I was like, I saw it and I'm like, oh shit, your mama got snakeskin teeth. It was like the first thing I thought of when I saw that felt. Like that fake snakeskin
and
felt.
then you
And I was
made
like,
it into like a thing that you can
This-
see and touch. I fucking
It
love
is very satisfying, like art you can touch and feel, and it's
Yeah.
got texture and
yeah.
Yeah,
It's,
like my like stoner slash like like I'm just like I want to feel all the things. They're great.
There's like patches for like jackets and shit.
And Snoopy. This is a really great one. I feel like this is a piece of art. It is a piece of art.
Oh shit!
Oh my god!
Who's that?
Oh,
Masks and shit.
that is absolutely so very lit. That
so
looks so
sick.
cool.
That is so sick.
Oh, like a slum.
I was rapping. I would put this
I was
shit
gonna
on.
say like slum gun. Yeah.
I would put it on in the middle of the show, and it was like a magic trick. I didn't know this was gonna happen. That like I could stand there in front of people and look at them and put this on, and then they would still be like, "What?" Like when it actually was on, they'd be like, "What?"
Oh,
I was
that
like,
looks so cool.
So, Video Dave just distracted us with some art, and we were looking away, and then we return, and he's mask with another masked man.
Yeah, where'd he go?
I disappeared. If I just started talking with a different voice, hello. Get the fuck out of here.
He took on a different persona. What did we smoke before? No, these are fucking so great, man. These do you sell these when you're on tour? Or do you just like keep them mostly with
I've got
like a merch stand?
I've got like a class of hat that I make for tour and that I sell on tour. Like not these ones I've been showing y'all.
Like
these are my
artisanal.
like my personal collection joints. But I do. I got hats that I'll sell. Like when I do a show, when it's like my full set and I get to like be up on stage and do my sales pitch and talk it out. It's like I've got 3 or 4 hats on the table. One of them I'll sell for $100. You know what I'm saying? But ain't nobody there who comes to a rap show trying to spend $100 on a hat for the fucking opener. You know what I mean? Like, and I know this, so this is what I tell people on stage. Like I say that I'm like, I know you didn't come here to spend $100 on a hat. So $10, I'll raffle one. So I'll sell one tonight and then raffle one for like $10 raffle tickets and like let somebody get a hat for $10. Like
nice, yeah.
Like they're worth more in my humble opinion as a motherfucker who makes them.
Yeah,
they're worth $200 to $300, but I'll sell them for $100 on tour. And then like these ones, I'm real bougie. Like the prices I want for those, I'm talking a G. Like that Snoopy one.
The Snoopy one is like
that's
insane.
$1,100.
It is insane. Like the amount of like detail and it's just it is art. Like this shit is like it.
Yeah. So I'm trying to. I want to get art shows. I want to build it up.
I could see. I could totally see these in like a gallery, like one of those like multimedia experiences, like your music. Your fucking art is out.
I'm gonna do an art show in Phoenix. If there's some people out here in Phoenix, December 1st, I have an art show in Phoenix. It's gonna be the shit. It's gonna be my first art show. I've been trying to get an art show. Nobody will give me an art show. I've been trying to get an art show. That's like basically my whole album cover was inspired by like I made that piece and I wanted to get an art show and I wanted my album cover to be a picture of that photo, like a picture of that hanging on the wall at my art show. And like, wouldn't nobody give me a fucking art show? So I was just like, I'm just gonna bring this shit. The world is my gallery. And, we brought the shit to the beach and like got that picture because I was like, and then it turned out I love that picture.
It's a great picture.
It worked for me, but
but
that was I was trying to do. That's why I got that. That's why I made like this exhibit book with like all my fucking art in it. Like,
that's so amazing.
I'm trying to get an art shop. Like, there's a spot right across from y'all. I tried. She didn't want to give it to me. I mean, I didn't have it. She's like, okay, show me your art. And I'm like, how do I do that? I don't know how to do this. I just got a bunch of shit sitting in my apartment,
Yeah. It's a art. The art world is like it's one of those industries. It's one of those worlds to break into, and everybody has their own path on how they do it.
She comes in, I'll put in a good word for you.
I'm gonna get this one in Phoenix, and then I'm just trying to do more. I'm trying to. I made one for somebody who's gonna be on Dancing with the Stars.
Oh, cool.
And I don't expect them to wear it while they're dancing or nothing, but that maybe they'll wear one.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah, no, that's like how you do it. Like you get your shit in front of people and
you're making hats for people.
They remember it, and they want it and they go back for more. And that's awesome, man. Congratulations. It's really, really cool. It's exciting. It's really exciting to end the year off like on an art show,
Yeah. My first art show. I've been trying. Nobody
cool.
give me an option. I don't know how.
Yeah,
though.
well,
What's
maybe.
wrong with people?
Yeah, maybe once like you get one, like that's all you need is like that first
That little spark.
Yeah.
Then I'm the darling of the art world.
Yeah, like you'll be at Basil like
Yeah.
before you know it.
Start dressing crazy. Giant sunglasses.
Yeah, next time we see you,
Sunglasses. Huge.
light up.
Felt sunglasses.
Yeah. Can't see anything through
like-
them. You got people,
Yeah, they're
people guiding me.
useless. Yeah.
Got people guiding me everywhere I go. Like, this guy can't see.
You won't take them off.
Yeah.
It's very committed to the art.
Such an artist, yeah.
Well, that's great, and it makes me happy to know that exists. You know, that like creating and doing what you love and doing what you're good at and what you love, which also happens to be what you're good at, which is always nice. You know, it's good to see that still lives on. You know,
Yeah, we'll see if I could do something with it.
yeah.
I want to make pieces like that, like big enough to like wear to be a whole garment or something. Like I want to make a dress, like make it
Oof.
a gown out of that. But
I love
it would take me
Take you
months
a
to
long
sew the
time.
piece.
But it
And
would
then
be
I'd
worth
have to
a
learn
lot
how to
of
like
money.
cut dresses and shit. Like there's a lot of steps to it.
Yeah, but like I think you'd be great at it.
Or I'd have to sew it onto someone's body.
You get the pattern and then sew it on. Like
Yeah,
it's fitted right to
Yeah.
the body.
to the runway.
All right.
Oh yeah, I like that. I like the sound of that.
Yeah.
but the amount of work would kill me.
Yeah. I mean, it's certainly like a like heavy load of work. But when it's that shit that you love, it just like going on tour, like working 12 days straight, like being delirious and seeing visions and playing your favorite Alice Cooper song. You don't feel it, you don't feel that work. You maybe feel it like a week later. You're like, I was hunched over for what feels, or I was on tour, and now my knees are screaming and, my ears are ringing, but that's later.
Yeah,
When you're doing it,
yeah.
it's all nothing. It's all the best. It's all the best thing ever because it's your favorite thing. Well, so we can stream your album right now. Yes.
Oh yeah, it's streaming everywhere.
Let's all go stream Articulated Textiles.
Articulated
Textiles. And is the vinyl and cassette available too?
Not necessarily. Like the vinyl sold out.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
don't confuse
exclusive.
because we.
Yeah, these are my personal stash.
Ooh.
Thank you.
Thank you so
so
much.
much.
This is amazing. You are amazing. You create amazing things.
Hit me up on my Instagram. Hit up my Spotify, my Bandcamp, like all these places, all the places. You know how fucking algorithms work. I need followers, all that type of shit. Come through, check out my shit. You can hit me up on VOD. You can look at my VOD.art. That's my real high price bougie prices. Maybe you can slide in the DMs. Some people, somebody got a hat this morning.
Nice.
I just sent off a hat this morning. Like,
Oh, yeah.
if people hit me up the right way. It's all, it's a lot about people approach me, like
Of course.
people who've listened to the music, you follow me, you want to get a hat, we can make that happen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And your art, and we stand by this, like art, creating art, it is worth, like you are worth money. You know what I mean? Like we give our time, we give our art, we give our like music, we give our podcast, we give our everything. But like what you do, what you create, your passion, like that is like the bouginess, it is earned,
Yeah,
and I think people who appreciate like personally made things like this, like I will pay top dollar for like a really like unique.
It's a one of a kind.
I all my homies
Handmade.
who are artists, I'm just like,
Crafty.
sign me up. I'm first in line. I'm pre-ordering that shit. So like art is alive, and that is very, very, very relieving, and music is. And if
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's 50
Thanks,
minutes,
Dave.
you guys. Thank you, Dave.
Just twist your arm and make you stay with me. 1, 2, 1, 2. Hey. Due to a clue of the naughty noise called plug tuning, I drew my own views on what I should be doing. I run around the world chasing money, making music. People always like, David, I don't know how you do it. How much you charge for a beat, I never figured it out. I kept them all to myself, so selfish. What do you make in a week? I used to work steady, now I'm steady working on some shit I can't touch. I can feel it though, so can, you can, too can. Follow your nose to the trees, see the birds, mountain raps in the snow. And the bees I'm absurd, bouncing track tracks in my phone for 3 weeks. Disappeared out in vans on the road for free beers or 4 drink tickets. The tickets only get you well liquors. I remember up only to a certain limit. I should've took a picture, it would've lasted longer. I'm finna flip the scripture, book a day for which video, any city-o. Catch me outside, blowing trees, spitting witty flows, wasting my time. Let my mama tell the crew of the naughty noise called plug tuning. I drew my own views on what I should be doing. Let my run around the world, chasing money, making music. People always like, David, I don't know how you do it. Let my mama know it either, but I know I just do it. I grew up watching TV, taping radios and music. I never could refuse it. I had to try and do it due to a clue of the naughty noise called plug tuning. I'm ruined, I do not drive a Buick. I do not own a home, I have a baby, no influence to keep me off the road from talking crazy like a nuisance. Loitering, embroidering, man, these little baby lights shortening bread. That tune is in my head, it got in there from different cartoons I was viewing. So now when I review it, everything is due to a clue of the naughty noise called plug tuning. I drew my own views on what I should be doing. I run around the world chasing money, making music. People always like, David, I don't know how you do it. Fuck a pension. I hope I work till I die. Unfinished opus out of focus cause I'm crazy and blind. Final touches readjusted by my kids or my wife. Oh, what a life. Oh, what a life. Turn the lights off.
Are you ready for